Okay. So you wanted to, you had mentioned that you wanted to work on, um,
Moving the cue ball around.
right, you want to work on position.
Yes.
Um,
So I'll tell you what I notice a lot with me
mhm.
is if I have a ball up here, and the cue ball's down here, I hit it. Cue ball always seems to might make it. So I don't know what that is. Or when I'm doing it on the rail, the cue ball always just seems to go right up here and nowhere else.
Okay.
And if I try to hit it harder, well, then it just bobbles up there even more.
Okay. I think the first thing we need to do is we need to work on your speed. Because you need to have a pretty good control of the speed of your delivery of the cue, before you can really start working on cue ball position and getting it to where you want to go. There's a lot more to it. There's what kind of spin you have. If you're doing a rail shot, if you're doing a rail shot like this, you could hit them both at the same time. You could hit the ball first slightly, or you could hit the rail first slightly.
I always tend to go for the rail first.
Well, those have different effects. Okay? If you hit the rail first, when it hits the ball, it has no forward spin at all. Usually when you go to hit the rail, you're going to use a little, with this shot, you're going to use a little high right.
Okay.
Right? If it hits the ball first, it's going forward, and then the right hand spin kind of grabs the rail and throws it. So you'll notice that if you hit the ball slightly first with a high right on the cue ball, the cue ball kind of dives into the rail, comes out. If you hit the rail first, the cue ball wants to go that way.
Okay.
Right? Because now you have no more, so the spin usually grabs the rail and moves forward. But if it does that first and then hits the ball, you have no more forward.
Got it.
Right? Unless you have a lot of topspin. So the topspin will make it go forward. In a shot like this, you probably find that you'll scratch a lot if you hit the rail first.
Okay.
Okay. I don't recommend, until you really start to get a feel for the control of the cue ball and exactly what it's doing, I wouldn't recommend using a lot of right spin on a shot like this.
Okay.
If you've ever done a shot like this, where you decided, well, I'm going to hit the rail first because I need to get around the table.
Right.
I need to bring it to here. And you go and you hit it, it goes here, 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 and it goes way down there.
Right.
Because it doesn't lose any of its speed because it comes in, does a thin cut, and it just flies around.
Yeah.
Those are hard to
It's not
judge.
really getting stuck right here by that.
Yeah.
Stopped by that ball.
So let's work on ball speed first.
Okay.
I'm going to show you a few different things. The first thing is let's just do a couple lags.
Okay.
So you're just gonna lag and see how close to the rail you can get. In the first few shots, I can forgive not being too close because it's first time on this table.
Right.
That's one of the other things is you need to learn how to adjust to the speed of whatever table you're on. Crown's tables are pretty good. That's a good lag. Anything inside this line is inside this diamond.
Seems like a little off. Normally I try to hit my tip. Seems like it's left.
If you're looking to go as straight as possible, let's put it here on the line and aim at the diamond. Let's see, you have it come right back. Right now we're not focusing on accuracy. That's good. We're focusing on speed. Okay, try a couple more. That was really good. Yeah, that's great. One more.
Come on, you passed that line.
Okay, so that's pretty good. You've got a good. You seem to have a pretty good command of your speed, consistency. You should be able to. Once you have dialed in exactly you get within an inch of the rail,
Mhm.
you should be able to do that almost every time. That's what you're going for. So if you are, one of the things that I always teach people is, and it's something I heard, I didn't make this up myself, but don't practice until you can make the shot, and that includes, you're trying to do the lag or whatever you're trying to. Don't try until you succeed. Keep going until you can't fail, right?
Okay.
So you're practicing a shot. Let's say that you're just practicing this cut shot, and you're just doing them over and over and over.
Right.
You keep missing, and it's frustrating, but you're keeping at it, right? And then you make it, and you make it again. You're like, okay, good. Now on to the next shot. Absolutely
Continue
not.
to make it.
Running a complete rack first.
Yes, and that's what I usually
Practice
do.
until you can't fail, until you
Right.
can't miss, right?
Okay.
Even if you just get up there and you're just not even trying really hard to get up and smack it, and you make it, or it's very, very close, you'll start to feel, even when you're off by a little bit, you'll just feel it, right? When you are, when you're getting down on a shot, one of the things I always try to instill is that you have to picture this red light or green light, and your subconscious is going to tell you, right? After you've been playing for a long time, which you have, and you start to build up this repertoire of shots that you've tried over your entire lifetime. Your subconscious remembers them all, right?
That's the
You
muscle
might not.
memory part.
What's that?
Muscle memory part.
Exactly. It's
Yes.
muscle memory.
Mhm.
So when you get down on a shot, how many times have you gotten down on a shot and you're like, I don't feel comfortable with this, but you shoot it anyway. And what happens? You miss.
You miss.
And then you get up and say, I knew I was going to miss that.
Mhm.
Of course you did, because your subconscious was screaming at you, red light, red
You're
light,
gonna-
red light.
Yes.
And you went, no, I got this, and you ran the red light. So,
Yep.
So it's the same thing with the lag. It's great you got two in a row, but right after that, you were a little off. You're trying to train your muscle memory to remember that exact speed that you did. Now, one of the things I usually teach when teaching speed is your bridge hand, using a different bridge length. The most important thing is, the most important thing is your stroke length.
Okay, yes.
Okay? The stroke length is really what is going to, that's how you're going to control your speed, right? Because every shot should be a smooth acceleration from 0 to max speed at the moment of contact to 0, right? It's an acceleration and deceleration,
Right.
every shot, right?
Yes.
And that looks like a bell curve, right? This is no acceleration, max acceleration, no acceleration. At the max acceleration, that's when you should
Is
be
that
striking
when
the
you're-
cue ball.
Okay. And then that's where, but you're still following after you strike.
You're
that
always
cue ball.
following through. Yes. They call that timing. If you've ever heard the term timing when people are talking about.
No,
So
not
if you ever hear anybody he has good timing or whatever,
Okay.
that's really what they're talking about. They're talking about how well they time the striking of the cue ball at the top of that bell curve,
Okay.
at the max speed,
Okay.
right?
All right.
Because you don't want to be accelerating through the cue ball,
Right.
and you don't want to be decelerating,
Mhm.
when you hit the cue ball, because then if you're doing that, what exact speed are you hitting, right? So if you can develop the timing and then develop the stroke length, right? Stroke length. So if you have a very short stroke length, getting to the peak is you're not going as fast, right?
Right.
And then it's coming back down again. If you have a longer stroke length, it's going to be faster at the peak.
Yes.
So if you can develop your timing so that at the peak of the speed of your stroke, which is the middle of your stroke, which is when your hand's vertical, right? This is the beginning of the stroke, middle of the stroke, end of the stroke,
Yes.
right? At that moment, cue ball impact, you time it every single time to hitting that, then the only thing you're doing to control the actual speed is the length of your stroke, right? You get that down, and now you're going to get a lot more consistent with exactly how how hard you're hitting the ball. I'm going to guess that a lag shot is pretty easy for you.
Mm-hmm.
But another thing that you can practice, I want you to hit the cue ball into the four ball. So
Do you want it to go anywhere?
I do not. I want you to touch the four ball, but I do not want the four ball to leave its own circumference.
Oh,
So if it goes
okay.
forward 3/4 of the ball, that's okay,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't want it to go past.
Oh,
Okay?
so you mean that easy shot?
Easy and just touch it.
Oops.
Exactly. Now we're talking about touch.
Okay. Oh, you don't know?
And that's what I was talking about. That's where you really show your timing as being on.
Yeah.
Okay. So now what I want you to do, I want you to bridge a lot closer to the ball. Okay. And the other thing I want you to do, no, real close, real close.
Oh, you,
Do you are you comfortable with an open bridge?
is that this way?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. For softer shots and center ball shots, I would recommend using an open bridge whenever possible. You can see the entire cue that way. Nice and close. Okay, so your stroke is going to be about maybe an inch. Okay. Now the other thing about this is I want your strokes to be like this. 1, 2, 3. Right? You see it's exactly the same speed, but I'm only going halfway, which is right up to the contact.
Got it. Grip.
1,
Grip up, please.
2, 3. Yes, you do have to grip closer when you're closer to the ball. The distance between your bridge and your grip is always going to be the same.
You said on the third. Is that when I would?
Whatever works for you, you can go 1, 2, 3, or you can go 1, 2, 3 stroke. Either one, but it should be consistent each time.
Oops.
That was better. It was better. Don't anticipate. Don't anticipate the actual stroke. Just perform it. Okay. So nice and close. Nice and close. This is going to be a real short, and your back arm should be a little closer actually.
In my body.
Should be straight up and down. There you go. And that could be tough for you because you have a small wingspan.
Yes.
Yeah, that was better. So what's going to end up happening?
Yeah, that's why I'm
Do this.
get the fulcrum.
Oh yeah, exactly. So hold your hand straight up and down like this. Don't grab the cue, and just slowly clap your hands together. Very slow. Don't worry about it. Very slow. Yeah, so you're grabbing the cue. Don't grab the cue. Let both hands slide. Okay?
Mine's not sliding.
There you go. Boom. That's the center of gravity.
That's where I hold it.
So if you hold it in front of this,
Mhm.
the cue wants to go up.
Go like that. Got it.
Right?
So
If you hold it behind, then the cue wants to go down, which is great because it rests on your bridge. So you find that spot. So it's about 3 inches from.
there. So
It's about 3
is
inches
that where
from
I
your
hold
grip.
it, or I go this?
No, all I'm saying, this isn't where you hold it. Where you hold it just depends on where your bridge hand is, right?
Right.
But I want you to be aware that if you're using an open bridge and you're very, very close to the cue, there's a good chance your hand's going to be up here and the cue's going to want to do this.
Got it.
So there are ways you can move your hand back a little bit so it's not exactly vertical if that's an issue. Yes, exactly. So you can see exactly where that is. So if you get up really close, yeah, that's not bad. No, don't. Oh, look at that. Look at that.
Ooh, touch it.
Oh, just missed it. But that was good. But
was my elbow out like this?
I wasn't looking at your
Okay.
elbow.
Almost fine.
So when you're doing your stroke, what I want to see is this. 1, 2, 3, 3. right? The same speed. It's the cue's moving the same speed. It's just 1, 2, 3, and then through it. Okay. And if you do that, then you're going to your timing is going to be better because you're not controlling. You're not trying to control the speed of the cue. You're just working on your timing. That's much better. This is a very, very tough drill.
Yeah, it is. I want to see you do it. I learned by watching as well.
So the whole reason for using the shorter bridge is to teach you to use a shorter stroke.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay.
If you're using a really, really short bridge, you can't go back too far, right?
That's right.
Because it's going to fall off.
Yes, so you're not going to get a lot of
Right.
help.
This is a training tool. You don't have to do that
Yes.
as long as you just learn to keep your stroke. So you can be farther back like this, as long as you know short strokes. Is that 1, 2, 3, 4. So, as I said, it's a very difficult
Yes.
drill. I mean, even pros would be hard pressed to do that straight. 1, 2.
Perfect.
So that's a good drill just to kind of teach you to develop your timing,
Okay.
proper timing. You have to get used to.
When would you use a stroke like that?
I'm shooting this ball here. Let's say
Okay.
I could do a stop shot, but let's just say I'm off just a little bit, and my 8 ball is down here. My opponent's ball is right there. You can kind of see that I need to be pretty precise. I need it to be pretty close to the rail, right?
Yes.
So if I do a stop shot, that's not going to work, right?
Right.
So I need the cue ball to stop on the rail.
Yes.
Right? So just straightforward roll. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, I'd be very close to on the rail hitting rail shots right off when it's touching the rail. Those are tough. Those are difficult.
Yeah, that's the other one.
Because any little mistake gets exaggerated.
Mm-hmm.
There are techniques for that, but we're not going to do it.
Okay.
Okay, so anyway, let's get back to the stroke timing. Okay, doesn't matter if you're doing a tiny stroke or if you're doing a break, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want, especially the break. I mean, really, you want a nice long stroke, right? You want the maximum speed to be right there, right? You're accelerating from 0, maximum speed, and after that, it's just deceleration. You're just, letting the cue ball stop. Your arm can't go much farther than that, right? So, and when you do that, your subconscious probably feels it more than you do, but you get a good feeling. It's like it just felt right. That stroke just felt right. It's like when you do that draw shot, right? And you want a perfect draw shot or a stop shot. You come up here, you hit it nice and low, you're aiming low, you're hitting low. If you can get that perfect timing, it just feels right.
Yeah,
It just feels
sometimes it just feels right.
right.
Like in golf.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. It's just that feeling that everything came together.
Exactly.
And the timing of that shot, the hitting of the cue ball at the maximum speed of your stroke, top of that bell curve, that's just perfect. Okay? That's very, very important when you're trying to control the speed of the ball. Okay?
Yes.
So there's a really good drill for this. And Aurora, can you give me a booklet?
Oh, yeah.
So there's a booklet that I'm going to give to you, and it's going to help you with, give you some drills.
Okay.
But this is one of those drills. These are called progressive practice. And the reason they're called that is because when you do these things, you're making them progressively harder, right? and trying to figure out where's your 50% point where you're missing and making about half the time. Okay. So this one is just a follow shot.
Okay.
All you have to do is follow the cue ball into the area defined by this line. Anywhere in here.
And make the.
And make the ball. You have to make the ball. Okay. So you're just going to follow it. So, same thing. I'm going to move one diamond up. They don't have to be lined up exactly to the pocket because you really want to go into this area. Right? So you can line up however you want as long as they're on the diamonds. Okay, so this was 1, this is 2. Follow into the gray area. And you notice you hit that one softer than you hit the front.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Right?
Don't know why.
Well, your experience is actually doing that. You know subconsciously, your muscle memory knows
I
that
hit it
if you
hard
don't
when
hit
I'm
it,
following.
if you don't hit it high,
Mhm.
right? If you hit it center ball and you hit hard, the ball's not going to have a whole lot of forward roll, right?
Mhm.
You're sliding into this ball. So if you slide into it with a slight amount of follow, it's going to slide, but it's not going to have very much forward spin, and it's just going to kind of die, right? I'm sure you probably noticed that before.
Possibly.
Right.
I'm counting on
Thank
my muscle memory, but
Yeah.
not my subconscious
Right.
memory.
So what you want to do
Mhm.
is make sure that you're always chalked up. The thing to remember about any kind of spin on the ball, this is a center ball hit, okay? And you're hitting the flat part of the tip.
Right.
Okay. Even one tip, which would be move over one
Mm-hmm.
spot, you can see you're
Yep.
hitting the edge of
Right.
it, and a little bit more than that, and you're hitting the very edge of that ball of the Q-tip. So you want to make sure that you have good chalk. Exactly.
That's what you taught me.
Yep.
And then I go on for the one little.
Oh yeah,
spin on
you
top.
want what you want is you want the entire surface to look exactly the same, completely uniform with the same color. If there's any dark areas,
Yep.
then you got to color those in. Right. And
Mhm.
that's all this is just a little like a piece of a crayon or something, right?
Mhm.
You're just coloring in. As long as it's colored in, it means that there's a layer there. You're good. Okay. And you want to hit about one tip above.
One tip above.
Right. Now what that's going to do is it's going to give natural forward roll to the cue ball.
Oops, get up there. I stopped. I'm not trying to make it, I'm trying to do get it up in the gray area.
Exactly. So when you hit above center, about
Mhm.
one tip above, it's going to have natural forward roll. There's no way, it's physically impossible to overspin the cue ball.
Okay.
Okay. The spin that you see, like spinning on the cloth and then moving forward, is after it hits a ball.
Uh-huh.
If you hit it forward and you hit it pretty hard and it's naturally rolling,
Right.
by the time it hits the ball, it's going to stop, right? But it's going to be spinning. The more speed you use, the more spin it has.
Okay.
Right? And that is no different than the lag shot. What you're going to find is that there's a certain speed that you'll need in order to make it stop at a certain point up here,
Okay.
right? If you're always doing one tip above center,
Mm-hmm.
then the only difference is what? The speed that you're actually hitting the cue ball to get down there,
Right.
right?
Keep going. Get follow through. Must be what that is.
Could be your timing.
Mhm.
It could be that you're dropping your tip a little bit. But the other thing you need to do is make sure that you're that when you
Where I'm
when you
focusing.
are lined up on the cue ball,
Mhm.
that is the point that you're actually hitting. It's one of the reasons why your hand should be perpendicular, right? Because at the point where it's coming, where you follow through, you notice that the tip comes down, right?
Mhm.
So if you do that, if you're shooting at this ball, right? Let's say your arm is perpendicular, but it's back here, right? So I'm aimed at the top of the ball. Watch what happens. See that?
Yes.
When I come forward,
Yep.
it drops
Yep.
down. You need to be perpendicular at the moment of contact.
Got it.
Okay? That way, so that's the other reason why your tip should be coming all the way up to the ball,
Mhm.
almost touching the ball when you're
Okay.
doing your practice strokes, because then you know you're going to hit that spot.
Right.
You're not going to dip down.
Yes.
Don't lift your shoulder, don't lift your elbow,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
You want to make sure that you stay, everything stays locked in. The only thing moving is your back arm.
Got
Right? That's going to make sure you have consistency on where you strike the ball. Okay?
I know I do that a lot. You know, I will aim at the spot, and then it's either I raise my cue or drop.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to be. If you raise and lower your back arm, your shoulder, or your elbow, that suits us the tip. I don't have to move it that much for the tip, even up here. You know, it just this much.
Just lock it in. On
See how my back elbow is not
yeah.
moving that much,
No.
but I get an entire tip of difference.
Mhm.
That makes a huge difference on whether you're hitting the ball with follow or stun. And since you're hitting it harder to get the cue ball to come down here, if you're hitting with stun, it's just going to pop in there and the cue ball is just going to stay in this area.
Right. Keep it rolling. Keep it rolling.
That's not bad though. Think about how hard you hit it. You hit it real hard. You're never going to get more follow with the same shot. If you're using maximum follow, which is about one tip above center, then you're not going to get more by going a tip and a half above center. You're not going to get more forward spin, right? It's naturally rolling into this ball. That's the fastest it can roll.
Yes.
So the only difference between getting from here to here is the amount of speed you're using, right? And so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to isolate. You can see that there's a lot of different factors.
Yes.
How high you're hitting this ball,
Mhm.
whether or not you're actually following through and getting that timing right, so that you're hitting this at the maximum point, rather than decelerating or accelerating into the ball.
Right.
You want to be at the maximum point, and how high are you hitting the ball, with your tip.
Yes.
All of those factors
Mhm.
play into how far the cue ball goes.
Yes.
Right. So isolate them by always using the correct timing.
Okay.
Right. Controlling always hitting the ball in the same spot, one tip above center. Once you do that every single time, then the only different factor in how far the cue ball goes is the speed of the shot. Okay. Hit that one a little bit low.
And I started off aiming high, and so I'm taking my eye off of that.
You're trying to focus on all of those things.
I'm trying to make the focus on making that ball.
Yeah. And you have to. If you don't make the ball, it's a failed shot. Even if the cue ball goes exactly where it needs to go, if you don't make it, it's a failure.
Yes.
And I'll show you what failing or succeeding means during this practice, this progressive practice. Okay. But for now, we're just focusing on. I don't want you to focus on the timing. I don't want you to focus on the spot that you're shooting. As long as your technique is correct, then your timing and your aim on the ball should be consistent. Okay, don't think about that. Okay. Just focus on the speed of the shot and your follow through.
Oops, that was a double hit.
That's it.
Always wondered what those felt like. They sort of feel good though. It feels good. One.
Remember to chalk up too, because
Well,
the
so,
amount of chalk, if you miscue, let's say you're using a closed brick, you don't really feel the miscue sometimes. Sometimes you'll miscue, but you actually don't realize it because you just hit a bare spot on here, right? It feels like it was a solid hit, right? It might have felt a little bit funky, maybe a little bit of a vibration, but you still made a good shot. But the cue ball doesn't move,
right.
right? It's because when you're hitting high, you're relying on the friction of the tip to make sure that it's doing this.
Sure, sure.
If you slip on the ball at all, then the ball doesn't get the forward spin. It ends up sliding, and you think you hit it in the right spot. Your timing was fine, but why didn't it go? Because you probably miscued and you didn't realize it.
The ball in the.
Exactly. So make sure that you have that chalk on your tip.
Now I thought with this chalk that you don't have to chalk up as much. You could do a whole game with just.
You should be in. I don't care if the chalk is super sticky and you don't have to chalk for half an hour. That's the claim.
Right.
Chalking is not always about applying chalk to the tip. Chalking means you grab your chalk, and this is part of your pre-shot routine, right? This is part of getting into the zone. Pre-shot routine. You grab your chalk. You're looking at your shot. You're lining it up. Figuring out where you need to be. You're chalking your tip. You're looking at it. I don't need any chalk. Good. Right? That's still part of chalking. Right?
Got it.
Look at your tip to see if it needs it.
Got it. Okay.
Don't trust that, hey, I just chalked it the last shot. I'm sure it's fine. Maybe it's not. Maybe you still miscued a little bit and now there's a little bare spot. If you hit that bare spot again,
there you go.
Now, one thing I noticed you're doing, and it's okay if this is part of your technique, but I'm noticing that you're not consistent with this technique, so this is why I'm bringing it up.
Okay.
You go and you practice your stroke, and then you come back. You're doing this. So see the length of my stroke?
Yes. Getting further away.
Then you stop and pull back.
Oh.
All right. You're ignoring the length of your stroke, which means that now you're completely guessing. Part of the practice stroke is getting a feel for the timing. Right? 1, 2, 3, through. That's what you're trying to do.
Got it.
Okay.
So try to. Am I too close to that cue ball? I mean, to the.
That's up to you. That's up to you. If you're too close, you won't really be able to get a good acceleration. You want a good steady acceleration. You can get that speed in a shorter stroke, but now your peak looks like this, right? How do you time it exactly right so you're right at that specific point? With a longer stroke, you're kind of flattening out that curve, and it gives you a better chance of hitting it at that right speed. And it helps you to accelerate into that speed.
All right.
You're not trying to slam on the brakes, you're just trying to accelerate smoothly. Take a deep breath. Do your 1, 2, 3 and stroke through.
I'm stopping.
Ordinarily, with progressive practice, the way this works is whenever you miss,
whenever you start back,
you drop down one.
Okay.
Okay. These are all given a number. 1, and this is where the object ball is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like that.
Okay.
Right. Which is a tough one because now you're going off the rail.
Yes.
You're either shooting it there or you can even put it on the rail, and you're having to shoot off the rail. But so ordinarily, if you don't succeed on the shot,
got it.
you're going to move forward one. But right now, we're just focusing on your technique.
That's not how I stand.
So when you are when you are down on your stroke, let's go through your stroke mechanics. What you should be doing is a couple of things. Every shot, even your drills, should be the same. You're checking your tip, you're going through the pre-shot routine, put it down, you come back, you line up the 12 to the pocket, figure out your aim point. You come down here on the line of your aim, you get down on that shot, then you figure out, do I feel good on the aim? That's the only thing you're asking yourself right now. So does this line look good, right? If it does, then you're ready to shoot. Now, see if it feels good. 1, 2, 3. Notice I didn't shoot it very hard.
Right.
Right. But for the 1, 2, your 1, 2, 3 shoot is the last part of the whole routine. Okay. You're not getting down and immediately going into the 1, 2, 3.
Right.
Right. You want to get down, make sure that your aim is good. You don't need to be moving the cue stick. You shouldn't be. Right. If you're moving the cue stick and you're not perfectly on, you don't know if your aim is good. Right. And by the way, you don't have to be right on the rails. Just as long as they're on the diamond,
Okay.
and they're one diamond apart. They don't have to be lined up straight. Slight angle is good because you're going for the range over there. Okay. So aim. So there's my target line, my aim line, coming down on that aim line. Okay. My tip is one tip above. My aim looks good. I feel good with that right there. If I could just make it go at that point, like shooting a gun, I
Yes.
feel good that will go in. That's my green light.
Yep.
Now, 1, 2, 3. Okay. That's what your routine should look like every time.
I'm going for the same pocket.
Same pocket.
Let's see.
That's your next shot.
Which one?
The
The
stripe.
stripe? Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
So,
All right.
and you have ball in hand, but you have to shoot it in that pocket.
Okay. I have ball in hand?
Ball in hand, but you need to do it like this so that you can put it
Yes.
exactly the right angle.
Yep.
So it doesn't come over here. it comes
Yes.
over here, right?
Okay.
So just make sure you don't follow into the pocket. That's all. That's the only thing. That's also a failure.
Yeah.
Nice. Very good. Very good. So that's one of the progressive practices. That's for the follow shot. There's another one for draw shots. How is your draw shot?
If they're close, I'm pretty good, you know.
Yeah, farther
But
away
if
is
it's-
tough.
Yeah, way up the table,
Mhm.
especially on the 9-foot, and it's good.
Just like the follow shot, the draw shot is all about precision and technique. It's not about speed. Okay. You notice how low I'm hitting.
It's,
When you're on this shot, it feels too low. But as long as you're not touching the cloth, you should be okay. Notice how close my bridge is. If I pull my bridge farther away,
it drops it down a bit.
until the point where it's touching the cloth, and we
Yes.
know we're going to jump, we're going to scoop the ball up,
Got
right?
it.
The reason for that is because I use a special bridge. It's called a fist bridge, although my fingers are out. This is no different.
That's the one that you showed me. That was, I think my hand was too small or something.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay.
It's just it feels uncomfortable because you don't.
Spread it.
So
Spread
if you put your fingers out, it's no different.
it.
The bottom line is my thumb is on the cloth.
Got it.
My cue is on my thumb, and I do not raise my thumb. I'm just wrapping my fingers around it.
Well,
Okay.
you know, like this, that feels pretty good.
Mhm.
Except I have
So
to drop it.
ordinarily, when you do a closed bridge, you might have, like when I do a closed bridge, it's actually resting on
Mhm.
this finger,
Yes.
right? My thumb is up off the cloth. That's how I normally do a bridge. It's on this finger. The fist bridge, the only difference is I'm using my thumb and I'm keeping this finger out of the way. I can have it out like this if I wanted, or I can tuck it underneath. So I'm not even using that. I'm not using that finger as
Oh.
part of my bridge. See the difference?
Yes.
Try tucking that finger underneath.
Oh, okay.
And keep your thumb on the cloth. See that?
Yep.
That's a fist bridge.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't feel too bad.
So if I do that, then I can control exactly how high or low my tip is just by moving my bridge back. Right? I want it to be right there. Now watch this. I'm not going to hit this real hard. I'm just going to follow through. Oops.
Oops, allow it include.
Okay.
Mhm.
Just going to follow through. Does not require power. It does on a longer shot. A longer shot. This is, and when you're doing draw shots and follow shots, make sure that you do chalk every single time.
Yes. Okay.
With a longer shot like this, I can't really go parallel because this is in the way. So I actually have to drop it.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be a little bit more careful with this. And I'm not using a fist bridge this time. Right? If I use a fist bridge, I'm right on
You're on that.
that. I don't want to be.
Yes.
So I'm going to use a regular bridge, but now I've practiced enough to know that's where I want to hit it right there.
Mhm.
Doesn't take a whole lot of power. So if you want to practice your draw shot, that's a good way to do it. Just put a ball there, put this ball in the center, and try to focus on technique and not power.
Right.
Hitting it low, good timing, and good shot timing. With a low hit and good timing, you don't need a lot of power. The power is what's going to control how far back the cue ball actually comes.
Yes.
Obviously,
If you have,
if I'm doing this shot,
it's okay to have power.
and I need to get all the way to the.
Over there.
Right.
Mhm.
Is that your truck?
This one is.
Okay.
Mine
I was
has-
like, wait a minute.
Mine has a little
Yeah.
dip and some green on
Okay,
it
I
because
gotcha.
because of my other green. I usually shoot with green because
Oh,
blue just shows up on me. The green.
yeah, but with the
doesn't.
town chalk, the town chalk doesn't really
You know,
transfer much.
Didn't, but it does with me because
Really?
I chalk a lot.
Okay.
And
Try to slow down on how much. First of all, you're using this stuff's expensive. It's
Yes.
$30 a cube, right?
19.
Oh, you
Yes.
got 19? Okay,
Uh-huh.
that's good.
Yeah.
But it's
From
still pretty
Amazon.
expensive compared to 50 cents for a master.
From snagging it from the pool.
Right.
Yes.
So the more chalk you use, the more money. It's like a penny every single time you do this. Right?
Mhm.
So if you do it really light, like I show you, and
Yes.
just color the tip.
Right.
There's a layer of chalk. You only need one tiny layer of chalk. You don't need 3, 4, 5 thicknesses of chalk on this thing.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm. Okay.
Otherwise, you're just wasting it.
Yes.
All right. So I need this to go all the way back. So I'm actually going to put a little bit of left-hand English, knowing that that's going to spin it. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to hit this rail.
Okay.
Right. So now I need some power. I'm actually going to come back a little bit. That's where you need the power. You'll almost never, I mean, obviously when we're talking about cue ball position and we're going to start working on
Yes, we have more balls.
position,
Mhm.
yes. So when it comes to controlling the cue ball and getting the position that you need, there's so much to cover. I don't think we'll be able to cover it all today.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
of course.
Part of it is going to be the progressive practice I'm giving you. I'm not going to go over the follow and the draw as much anymore. I want you to be aware that where you hit on the cue ball matters, and your timing matters. Be aware of the timing. Practice your timing. Okay.
Right.
Just practice hitting the ball into pockets. Just put the balls out and just hit the balls just by themselves into the pockets.
Yes.
But you're just working on your timing. It needs to feel really good. You know, when you're practicing this, you're just hitting the balls into the pocket. Probably looked and I know it felt weird. Probably looked weird. Because I accelerated through it, right? Or I do this. Accelerated through the ball, right? You can just see it. And you can feel it, especially when you're shooting. If you got your timing right, it feels natural, it looks natural, you just know it. So if you want, just get on the table and just do that. If you're just practicing your timing, right? There really isn't a hard and fast metric. Obviously, when you're trying to do follow shots, you can get them into a certain zone. That's a very good metric on whether or not your follow is working. Timing is more about feel. When you do the proper timing, you know how it feels, right? And in order to get good timing, practice your 1, 2, 3 stroke or whatever works for you, okay? But get into a rhythm on every single shot. Same rhythm every time. Whatever that rhythm is for you that works, use that rhythm. Okay? That's going to help you with your time. The precision on the ball, these drills are going to help you with that. Right? Once you have your timing down, hitting the ball in the right position, on the tip in the right spot, and using the proper speed is really going to help you focus on getting the follow, getting the draw shots. There's also stop shots and cut shots in there as well. And I'll show you that and go over it with you. So those are very important. Other things that are important for a position or for controlling the cue ball is going to be understanding the angles that balls take.
Right.
Okay?
Yes.
That's an important one. And it's also important to understand the physics of what happens on the table. So I'll show you an extreme example. And it's one that you actually mentioned. This may be what's happening to you. So if I'm shooting this ball into the corner pocket, it's an easy shot, right?
Yes.
So most likely what you're doing is you're not even caring about that shot. What you care about is getting position on a ball down here. Right? You have to actually navigate the table. This shot requires as much precision as a really tough cut shot or a draw shot or a follow shot with precise precision. You want to be able to know exactly where that cue ball is going. Hitting the ball into the pocket like that is very different than hitting the ball into the pocket like that. And it's very different than hitting the ball into the pocket like that.
Yes.
Positions, all of them making that ball. But obviously, what the cue ball is going to do afterwards varies different, very much, right? So, I'm going to look at that and go, what's the best, way to get it where I want to go? Right? Maybe I just want to come here to get it over here so I can make the one in the side, right? So I figure I'm just going to hit it and have it come over here. So, but I want to hit it fairly full, so obviously I need to hit it a little harder.
Is full meaning high?
Full versus thin. Full.
Oh, you mean like a
versus thin.
slice or something. Got it.
It's also
full on the object ball.
Right.
Got it.
Another word for that is fat, but a lot of people don't like to use that word. Just like they don't like to use tip, so they say the point of the pocket.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
I use the term full just because it seems to be more widely accepted.
Got it.
So if I hit the ball full, I'm going to need a little more power to follow it over here, right? So I do that.
And that's what happens.
Sometimes. Or now you notice I can hit this ball a lot of different ways, right? I can hit it thin, I can hit it thick.
Yes.
But if I hit it thin, I don't want it to come all the way down here, so I go for a fuller hit. So if I do that,
That's what, so I'm hitting it to full.
it's just like, no, that's not about fullness. What that is understanding what the cue ball is going to do after it hits that ball, right?
So if you hit it full,
You hit it full.
does that mean that that ball slows it down a bit because you're using all of it?
Yeah.
Or not?
So if you hit a ball, full, perfectly straight, it just stops, right? Let's just assume that there's no spin.
Yes.
If I hit about a 3/4 hit, still pretty full, cue ball moves, but not that far.
Right. So the object ball stops, is slowing that.
So,
Yeah.
do you know math? Are you into math, physics, that sort of thing at all?
No, I use it at work a lot, but I do it with computers and
Okay.
stuff now.
So there's this thing, I'm gonna talk about it. If this is too confusing for you, let me know, okay? There's a thing called vectors. Vectors are about, not just about direction, but also speed. Okay. So I could say that this has a vector, this ball traveling has a vector this way. But what's really cool about vectors is you can add them together, right?
Got it?
So, and again, it's about direction and speed. So if we take two different directions, let's say we take this direction, which is the way the two balls gonna travel when I hit it right here.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the 90 degrees, which is the way
Yes.
this ball wants to go afterwards.
Right.
Those are two different vectors. Okay. So when this ball is traveling in this direction, it's traveling with this vector. Let's say this is the speed, and this represents the speed, right? The distance from this ball represents the speed. If I come closer this way, my speed this way is still going to go that way when I hit the two ball, right? But it's going to be very little. It's just a very little bit of speed. Most of the speed is going to be that way. Boom. So this vector, even though they're the same direction, has a longer vector because it's faster.
Right.
And it's going this way. So what happens is when I'm traveling in this direction, it's really traveling in this direction and this direction. At the same time, they're added together, right? The moment I hit the two ball, the cue ball no longer has any speed, any vector in that direction. It's stopped, right? We're not worried about forward roll. So the only vector that it has now is that direction. This ball takes over the vector in that direction. It's like the cat's or the cradle, what do we call it? Newton's cradle. You have the 5 balls, and you take one, and you drop it, and it hits, and the other one comes out.
Yes.
This vector stopped because it went straight into it. This one took over.
But the force is
All of the force is going this way.
Yes.
Since it didn't come in at an angle, it came straight in. This one took all of it, came out. Then it comes back, and hits this one, it comes out.
Yes.
If you take 2 balls and drop it, 2 balls come out this way, right? So if I shoot this in this direction at a very, very shallow angle, okay, it's shallow because it's a very small angle.
Right.
Most of the speed, most of the vector is going to be taken over by this two ball in that direction. Very little of it's going to be taken in this direction. So the cue ball will just kind of trickle this way.
Got it. I see.
If I shoot it from here, and you know this because how much you played, you know what's going to happen to the cue ball. If I go at about a 45-degree angle, these two vectors are going to be about the same. Right? And we know this because if I hit the ball just hard enough to hit the rail, you see how they're both going off at the same speed?
Yes.
They went the same distance, right?
Mhm.
But if I shoot that same shot from here, ignore these balls around. Just pay attention. You pretend this ball's not forward rolling. It's not going here. It's going to go this way.
Okay.
But
We're just looking at the two.
You notice that one was a lot longer, this one
Mm-hmm.
went a little bit,
Yes.
okay? The fatter you hit the ball, the less of a vector this one's gonna have in the 90-degree direction.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
So if I hit this ball dead straight, this one stops.
Mm-hmm.
If I hit it with about 3/4 of a ball, then it goes a little ways, but this ball would have gone probably all the way to the wall.
Right.
Which is why, and we're not worried about the forward roll, what we're worried about is how far it goes this direction, right? So when we shoot this shot, we
Yes.
can even demonstrate it during this drill. I have a slight angle. 4-ball's gonna rocket into the pocket. And let's not worry about the forward roll. Let's see how far away from this rail.
Okay.
Let's see how far away from the rail the cue ball goes. Right?
Okay.
Not very far. Even though the 4 went really far,
Mm-hmm.
that didn't go very far. So you have to understand that physics,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
When you hit it thinner, the cue ball has more energy in it. It has more speed, more of the vector in a certain direction with a certain amount of speed. You have to understand those.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Definitely.
Don't have to understand the mathematics or the physics, but you have to intuitively understand how it works.
Yes. Where it's going to go.
What's really neat is there are the rules of thumb. So this is 1 diamond from the pocket. I'm shooting a 45-degree angle.
Mm-hmm.
This ball, I'm going to shoot into the pocket, which means I'm going to hit it right here.
Yes.
Where's the cue ball going to go? On a naturally forward rolling ball.
Let me look at this real quick. It's gonna go off about where that chalk is.
Where the chalk is? Are you sure?
If I were hitting it, yes. Let me see.
Go ahead, shoot it.
Oh,
Shoot it in the fat,
I think it's
right in the
going
center
to-
of the pocket.
I think it's gonna come up here. So.
Forward rolling, so just a natural forward roll, shoot it into the pocket. Nice and easy.
Somewhere around there. It's close. $90.
So this one to this one is 45 degrees. It's
Mhm.
actually about right there.
Yes. Oh, I meant the
Actually
shape.
right there.
That would go 90 degrees. No?
It does initially go 90 degrees, but you have to remember that the forward roll is
Did
going
I-
to take over.
Not hit it fat though. Did I slice it? I don't know.
I don't know.
Mm.
So shoot the 1 ball in the center of this pocket. Slow roll it. Nice and easy.
It's supposed to go.
So that's a rule of thumb that you can count on. Right? Physics does not change. Physics never changes.
So then in order to make that, you hit it lower.
Gotta hit it lower, gotta hit it a lot softer so it doesn't make it to the pocket,
Yes.
right? Now you can't hit it with more forward roll, can you?
I think you can.
No.
No.
What did I tell you? You can't
Oh.
overspin a ball
You
when you
can't
hit it.
overspin it, yes.
We can make it overspin when it hits this. But believe it or not, this is really cool fact. So there's a couple things going on here. This part you'll need to try to understand. When I hit it here, when I hit the ball with natural forward roll, right, let's say I do this and I hit it hard and it's overspinning. What does it do? It stops, it's spinning, and it accelerates,
Yes.
right?
So scratch.
Right.
Scratch out.
In this particular instance, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I hit it here, it's going to hit, but it's going to naturally forward roll. It's going to want to go this way,
Got it.
right?
Yes. Yes.
But how far this way does it also go? So it's not just going to go straight, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to want to move this way. It has some speed in this direction, some vector in this direction, the 90 degrees. So my question to you is, how much does it go this way versus the forward roll?
I guess depending the force you put on it.
Now here's the interesting thing. If I hit it harder, I have a lot more forward roll, so it spins a lot faster, so it's still going to want to go in that same direction,
Yes.
forward.
Mhm.
But hitting it harder also makes it go this way faster. The speed that it goes that way and the speed that it goes forward, on a soft shot,
Mhm.
the difference in speeds, and a hard shot, the difference in speeds, is the same ratio.
Oh.
And because of that, the resulting angle of the cue ball is going to be a certain angle. Let's say it's 20 degrees. So from here, it's 20 degrees.
Mhm.
If I hit it softly, it'll go in that, on that vector. Right? That's the 20 degrees vector. It's still going to be 20 degrees if I hit it harder, but it's going to be farther over here. Why?
Ah.
Because instead of hitting and then kind of coming out just a little bit and going forward, I hit it hard, it's going to come out before it goes forward.
Okay, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Same, the
Yes.
resulting angle is going to be the same,
Mhm, mhm.
but hitting it harder makes it come out a little farther, which means if I take this exact same shot that you did,
Means it gets to the pocket quicker?
it does. It does. But when you hit it, it hit here and went into this pocket,
Mhm.
about like that.
Yes.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit it a little harder, and I'm going to shift that. What it's going to do is hopefully going to shift the angle enough that it won't go in the pocket. Let's see what happens.
Well, does it have something to do with the rail that it's going in and then spit?
What it has to do with is that it wants to go in this direction. It wants to go into that
Yes.
pocket. The natural forward roll puts it about that angle. Okay. But hitting it harder makes it go this way before, oops. It makes it go this way before it finally goes into that angle. So initially it starts off like this and then curves in and goes that angle, about like that. If I hit it harder, it goes, instead of hitting here and then going along here, it hits here, comes out, and then goes along that angle.
Got it.
And then hits the pocket. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes.
It's kind of a
It has to
complicated
do with
concept.
the energy of it.
Right, it has to do with the fact that the forward spin has to have time to grab.
Yes.
And if I hit it harder, it takes longer to grab. Well, it doesn't take longer, but it's farther along its path before it grabs, right? So if I hit this hard, it didn't have time to curve forward into that pocket. See what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
So I should have hit it harder.
I'm not saying you should have. We're not talking about a real game situation right now. We're just talking about the physics.
Yeah.
I want you to understand the
Yeah.
physics. If I shoot it at normal speed, just a nice rolling speed, now you'll notice that I put it on the diamond. That is a rule of thumb. On a 45-degree angle, cue ball vector will be 1/4 this way, or 1 diamond this way, and 4 diamonds in this direction. A 45-degree angle, the cue ball has a vector of 1 diamond this way and 4 diamonds this way, which results in that angle.
Okay.
Okay? Make sense?
Yeah.
A little bit?
A little bit, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What's really cool about that is that rule of thumb applies even the full length of the table. Now, this is subject to me having exactly the right angle, which is 45 degrees, which is going to be from here, from this point here, to that point there.
Okay.
Okay. So I want it right on that line. That's number one. Number two is I hit it exactly the right contact point and everything. But all things being perfect, cue ball should scratch. Because 2 diamonds, 8 diamonds, which is the equivalent of 1 diamond, 4 diamonds. It's a 1-to-4 ratio. So when I hit this, forward roll, pretty darn close. If I hit it a little bit thinner, a little bit more perfect, I would have gone right. But that's a good rule of thumb though, because now you know if I have a ball here, and I have a ball here, and I want to get position on the 8, and I'm worried about scratching, let's say I have this, and this is like right here. I need to get over here.
Right.
It's not in front of the pocket.
Yes.
It's right on the rail.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know that since I'm not, if I'm at 45 degrees, there's a real good chance of scratching. If I'm greater than 45 degrees, it's not going to go towards it, it's going to come over here.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yes.
And if I'm less than 45 degrees, then I know it's going to go, but I can hit the rail, right? So I do this, and I just hit it with forward spin, or forward follow, with the right amount of speed.
Yep. Yep.
Position. So getting position on the cue ball is about knowing where the cue ball wants to go, and let the cue ball do what it wants to do as often as possible. Don't try to put too much of something on it.
Mm-hmm.
If I have to shoot this shot, and I have the 8 ball next, the only pocket I can really shoot is either here or here. Shooting it here, I have a wide range of positions I could be in.
Right.
That's the other thing we're going to talk about. But I have a wide range of areas that I can be in order to make that ball on the side. This is my target.
Yes.
And this is my shot. Right now, I can't really rely on the physics of, you know, where the cue ball wants to go. Where the cue ball wants to go is after it hits here is trickle into the rail.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I can't have that.
Right.
If none of these balls were here, let's say these are the final 3 balls on the table. Well, if I do a power draw, what's going to happen? Come over here and look at
If
it.
these are the final balls, are we
Yeah,
looking at these?
I'm shooting the 8 after this strike.
If you
You're on.
draw, you would be running into these.
Maybe. No, these aren't here.
Oh, those are not there.
These aren't on the table.
If you do it,
Power draw, where's the cue ball want to go?
well, probably right around here.
Well, it's not straight in, right? So
Oh.
cue ball is going to trickle in this direction, but you're going to power draw. What's it going to do? Right? You have to be able to look at this and
Yes.
recognize that. And a power draw
Mm-hmm.
is going to be almost perfectly straight, but it's going to want to go in that direction. I could probably draw this and have it hit the rail and come out, but that goes nowhere near this.
Right.
It's not even going toward it.
Yes.
Can you think of another way that I could make that ball and make it come towards this area?
Oh, what about following through rather than rolling?
Okay, what happens
And then you could hit here,
Right.
bring it back.
if I do that with just pure follow?
Mhm.
And it's going to be a lot of follows. I'm going to have to.
Yes.
How do we
Yeah,
control how
yeah.
much follow it is if I'm using the same timing and the same position on the ball? Power. So I need to power
Yes.
all of this
Mhm.
to get it to really go as far as I need it to.
Yes.
But it's going to trickle this way. So it's going to go forward and hit here. It's going to hit here, and then it's going to come this way.
Yes.
I don't like that.
Mhm.
How do I make it so instead of coming this direction, it actually widens the angle? This way. How do I do that?
Thin it out a bit, not hit it full. I don't know.
The only thing I can do is coming off of the rail. If I want it to come off the rail at a different angle, what do? I
Put it
introduce
in
spin.
A spin. in
So not only am I going to do follow, I'm going to do left. Okay. Does that make sense to you?
Yes. Because you want it to go.
Exactly. So I'm going to kind of power it through, and I want to use left-hand English and follow. And you notice I didn't.
Perfect.
There wasn't a lot of power,
No.
but I needed to make sure they hit high enough for follow, and left enough to come off the rail. Now I got an easy shot on the.
Can I try that one?
Yes, absolutely.
This one is mine. I'll look the chip.
Doesn't matter. Use it. They're the same chalk.
Left.
Yes, and the other thing
Um,
that I want you to also be aware of,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll go into more detail later, I think. But the pocket's bigger than the ball.
Yes.
So if you shot it in this part of the pocket, how much angle do you think you have?
Well,
You don't have a lot of
I
angle.
don't, no,
You shot it in this part of the pocket, how much angle do
we have a lot.
you have? More.
Yes, more.
So your goal is really to be aiming at this.
So
part.
does that mean I'm hitting right here
Mhm.
on this side of the ball to get,
And remember, high, left, good timing, follow through.
not too much spin?
Spin was perfect. Not enough power.
A little bit power.
And you're rarely going to come across a shot. More likely, you're probably going to end up with something like this. Well, something like this. Now you have to
Now I have to.
you have to think. Okay, so now your cue ball is going to actually want to come this way a little farther. It's going to have more speed in this direction,
Mhm.
which means it's going to hit the rail, have more speed in this direction.
Yes.
Right. So, are you going to make it past the 8, or are you going to hit the 8, or are you going to come underneath the 8? Kind of have to
Right.
judge that.
You have to look at that.
So, a lot of cue ball positioning is all about determining what does the cue ball want to do versus what I'm going to try and force it to do, right? And then, what are my other options, right? So you can try this and see what happens.
Yep. Came up underneath.
Now that would have worked out. You're playing lead. You got your shot. And you look like a hero because if you don't tell anybody, oops.
Yeah.
It looks like you did exactly what you wanted, but you didn't.
No, I did not.
Remember to hit this with some follow. It's better. But honestly,
What am I doing? Am I stopping?
let me try to do this and see if I can actually put the extremes on it. I bet I end up hitting the 8 ball. It's kind of close. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put follow, but I'm going to put a lot of left. So you have to understand that a lot of times you've got to use the extremes. There are times that something like this, especially if I know the speed, if I understand the speed of my shots, shoot it that way, right? Like I said, you have choices. You have a area to shoot at. That's kind of a shot. I just wanted to demonstrate that you have options and that there are things you do want to. You want to respect the way the cue ball wants to go, right? Because the more you try to resist that, the more you have to exert something on the ball to make it do something different, right? Cue ball.
What it wants to do. Yes.
An extreme example of that is I have a shot of a 4 ball in that pocket, but I want the cue ball to go in this direction. This is a very extreme example, but if I want the ball to do that immediately without hitting a rail, how am I going to do that? What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a lot of masse on it.
Oh, nice.
See how it's like. So
Yeah, but I can't do masses.
yeah. So and my point is that is a very extreme example of making the cue ball do something completely different, right? So, but we're not talking about that. What we are talking about is a number of factors in order to control the where the cue ball goes on the table. The first one is going to be speed.
Yes.
Second one is going to be angles. We need to understand the angles.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll talk about the angles in depth shortly, but you need to understand those vectors like I was talking about. You don't really have to understand vectors, but you need to understand that the thicker you hit the ball, the more power you need in order to go in this direction.
Exactly.
Right? With a thin cut, with a really thin cut, thin cut, this ball is going to trickle in and the cue ball is going to be moving.
Right.
You know that.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's you understanding the vectors without really knowing what vectors are.
Right.
Shooting the same shot, same
Vector
pocket.
like the drift,
No, vector is
just the
an arrow
that
that represents speed and direction, right? So your vector, there's two different, if you have a vector in one direction, it can change based on the speed, right? It's a particular length of the arrow, right? And a direction of the arrow.
Okay.
So 5 miles per hour and 2 miles per hour, exactly in the same direction, are two different vectors. Or 5 miles per hour in that direction, 5 miles per hour in that direction are two different vectors because they're going in two different directions.
Yes.
Right. So that's what it is. It's speed and direction, but it's a straight arrow. Of course, the path of the cue ball can bend. That's not the vector. The vector is the direction and speed that this ball is going at the end of its shot. Okay, so there are some, what's interesting is in the progressive practice, there are some drills in there that even though they are more advanced drills and difficult to do, will help you to understand speed. And that is, you could take a shot like this, put it in the center of the table, you have ball in hand, and your job is to stop the cue ball in a certain position. Right?
Okay.
So the first one might be something like this. But
Being real and coming back on.
no, the drill specifically is to do a stun shot and
Oh,
have it drift straight down.
got it.
A stun shot being, you know what a stun shot is? A stun shot is a stop shot.
A stop shot.
It's called a stun because it doesn't really stop. You're at an angle, so it drifts in the 90-degree
Okay.
position. Right? So the other one would be something like this. So that's how you drill on cue ball position. The stun. Another one would be you place ball 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You put ball here, and you put it at the right angle. Let's say I'm going for this diamond here. Put just the right angle so that when I follow on medium speed, same exact shot. And I'm going to give myself just the right angle. Just so that you understand how the cue ball naturally wants to act after an average shot.
Right. The control itself.
Right. Yeah, the control. So there's a couple of different types of drills. Some are isolation drills. Okay. An isolation drill is one that focuses mainly on one thing. For example, you've probably seen this drill before. The bottle drill. You ever seen this?
No.
Okay, this is a really good drill. If you ever want to work on your stroke.
That's that thing.
Right. All that does. So go ahead and line up. So this is your ball right here. So your tip is going to be right in front of that. Put your tip right in front. Don't move. Don't move. Okay. So your aim is correct. Now take practice strokes into the neck of the bottle. Don't try to control it. Just do a natural swing. So a little bit faster. Exactly. So what you're doing there is you're isolating one thing, and that is the smoothness and the straightness of your stroke with your back arm, only moving your forearm, nothing else, right? And you're just developing muscle there. That's what you're doing. Okay. That's an isolation drill. Okay. You've seen this drill before. No, try not to bend it
Yeah,
too much.
it does.
We need to stay flat. So you've seen this drill. Put right on the dot. And then shoot. Go ahead and shoot it. And there's actually a better ball to use for this. There are cue balls that you can get that have this, but you can use a strike ball. Put the stripe straight up and down.
Okay.
Okay. And you're going to shoot that at the diamond or the spot, whatever.
Mhm.
Keep your cue on the table. Stay down, and have the ball come back and hit your tip.
Okay.
Now, the reason you use a striped ball is because you're trying to do a lot of things. One, you want to hit it straight.
Mhm.
Second, you want to hit dead center. Half a tip above center is better,
Okay.
but dead center of the cue ball, the stripe should not wobble,
Oh.
or it should wobble very little. You should not be able to see any white at the very center of that ball. If it wobbles a little bit, that's okay. But if you can see any white in the middle of that ball when it wobbles, it's too much.
All right.
Okay? Center ball comes straight back at your tip. Remember, tip above center.
Little wobble.
Now, once it hits this rail, there's no telling what can happen. That was very good. There was no wobble at all when you first hit it. Make sure it's straight, though. It's a little bit canted. The reason I show you this is a good drill for you to just practice your aim and your technique. That's very good. But to also demonstrate that this is not an isolation. This combines things. It makes you focus on, you got to be comfortable in your stance. Your fundamentals have to be good.
Mhm.
You have to be able to shoot straight. You have to be able to aim it. You have to concentrate on hitting right in the center of the ball. You have to focus, and you have to wait until the ball comes all the way back and touches your tip. You have to do all of that. That is not an isolation drill. That is
Yes.
putting everything together.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
The drills in progressive practice are some more similar to that, in that you need to use several of these disciplines in order to succeed.
Okay. Yeah, the next step.
So, one other thing that I'll touch upon, and then if you want, we can go into more depth in the future, but is to talk about position when you're doing cue ball positions, to think about your aiming zones. Okay, so let's just say that you have 3 balls to shoot in order to finish the game. Okay, so you've got that one there. Let's see. You've got this one here, and then you've got this one here. Okay, you have ball in hand. There's a number of things that you can do here. What I want you to do is I want you to shoot the 14 first, then the 9, and then the 8.
Okay.
Okay. So what I'm going to tell you how the best way to look at this, to run this. But this is the sort of thing that you should be looking at. You should always look 3 balls ahead.
Got it. Yes, I try to do that.
Okay. And you want to think about, I'm going to shoot this one to get position on the 9. But I want position on the 9 that's going to give me the best way to get position on the 8. Where do I want to get position on the 8? Well, there's a couple of places. It's here. You could come over here, anywhere, probably in wherever you feel comfortable, from about here all the way down, all the way to the rail, really, because if you got on the rail, you could shoot it up here.
Yep.
But you have the side pocket and the corner pocket to shoot from, right? I can change it just a little bit. Now your zone is up here because you want to shoot it then. Okay. So your position zone is actually a triangle, or a cone. Okay. The 9 ball, you could shoot this and try to put it right here, right?
Yes.
So you have a shot on the 9 ball. Now remember that you need to shoot the 9 ball to get to the 8 ball.
Yes.
So come over to this side. You shoot the 14. Not only do you need to be on the 9 ball, but you need to be anywhere from here to about here.
Yes.
And that's a little that right there is a representative triangle. See the triangle?
Yes.
See how big that zone is? Not very big. And if you get too far this way, now you're shooting away from the 8 ball. You're
Right.
leaving yourself a long shot. So you got to be pretty precise so that you can follow it over to here and make it from here. However, if you had ball in hand and you wanted to get from the 9 ball to the 8 ball, ideally, where would you like to be?
Where would I start this ball in hand?
Where, if you had ball in hand on the 9 ball and the 14 ball were not there,
Oh,
to get position on the 8, where would you put the cue ball?
well, I would put the cue ball right here.
Okay, but I just told you, what I want you to have, I want you to picture is, you're not going to have ball in hand on the
Right.
9, right? So let's pick a zone that's large enough around that ideal spot
Mhm.
that's still going to give you a good chance of making the 9 and getting on the 8. This is a very tiny zone. Pick a different zone.
Well, what about here?
That's not bad. So what you're thinking about is, one, you could hit it and draw it
I
back
see
over
the
here,
drawings, yes,
or you could go into the rail and come back over.
yes.
Those are two very legitimate things to do.
Mhm.
So ideally, for a draw shot, no more than about this angle.
Got it.
To, if for a follow, you could come probably over to here. So this is actually a much bigger zone. That's not bad,
Mhm.
okay? And you could make the 14, maybe go into the rail and come over here. Or you could make the 14 here, from over here,
Yeah,
and come over here, and then here, and into the 9, right?
right.
The other thing about the zone is, once you've got your zone, let's say you're doing this one, which I don't recommend, I have a better one.
Okay,
This zone right here, this is what you feel comfortable with. Now you know that zone, but it's very tiny in front of you.
yes.
It's very large back here. You don't really want to be on the rail. So let's just say right around here. But it's still a pretty large angle, right? It's a large area. So you're better off trying to aim for back here. But the longest part of the zone is from there to here.
Mhm.
So if you can actually pick a path that puts the cue ball on this line, and it has the better chance of staying on that line if it's traveling on the line. If you're trying to travel across, you have a very short zone to get across.
Right, right.
If you travel this way, let's say for instance the 14 is here, you could put the cue ball there, hit it and stun it over this way, and then you're in that zone for a long time,
Yes.
right?
Right.
That is ideal. That's what you want.
Yes.
Okay. My suggestion would be, and this requires a little bit more knowledge about
Maybe a two-way.
about stun. First of all, the cue ball, giving nothing else,
Mhm.
where does the cue ball want to go? It wants to go in this direction.
Yes, yes.
Now, can you see a triangle zone area that's pretty big that the cue ball traveling in this direction could head toward?
Cue ball heading in that direction.
It heads in this direction,
Mm-hmm.
90 degrees off of your shot.
And you might want to come back here.
That's nice.
Mhm.
What does the zone look like over here, shooting a 9 in this pocket?
It would be, you'd have a big zone.
Okay, well, specifically, I want to see what you think it is.
Okay,
Go to the extreme on this side first.
okay. Let me just see.
I mean, if you were here,
Mm-hmm.
can you make that 9 and get position on the 8?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
what's the extreme of that?
Yeah.
Too far over, and either you're not comfortable with the shot. You want
This one
an
right here
easier
would be
shot.
a scratch shot.
You want it, no, probably not, but it's a tougher shot cut, and it's going to be going in this direction faster, which means
Right.
you'll probably hit the rail and come out this way.
Uh-huh.
Might even scratch, whatever. You don't
Yes.
want to go for extremes like that.
Right.
You want fairly straight shots. So I would say here's probably the best extreme.
Mhm.
Now the other direction, what's the extreme?
Ooh. Well,
Making the 9 ball in this pocket. Now, what's the cue ball going to do? It's going to want to
it
go
would
this
come
way,
up off there.
which means you can have it come across here.
Yes.
The right speed, you get yourself a nice straight shot. So
Mhm.
I'd say anything more than this is a tougher shot, so probably about there. So your range is right around here, and it's a triangle.
Mhm.
From here to here, right?
Yes, yes.
So you want to be on this path. Ideally, you actually don't want to be straight on this. This is the one time that if you try to be straight, it's actually not good. You want to be on either side of it.
Yes.
This side means you can drift over to the 8. This side means you
right
can.
here,
If you were straight and a slight angle, then you might even follow it, come here, and come over here. But dead straight, you're giving yourself a really tough shot. Right? So the odds of you being exactly straight can be pretty slim.
yes.
But how do you travel along this path in this direction from here? What did you say? Boom, come here, maybe a tiny bit of right-hand English, off the rail, that comes in this direction, right? And you're in the zone pretty good. It's not going to be right on the line, and you're never going to be directly on the line unless you're coming from the back end, right? But if you're coming past the 9, coming in this direction is pretty damn good.
Yes.
Okay, let's give that a try.
What am I going with? 14 first?
14 first.
Does that mean I'm drawing this, or where?
I would do a little bit of draw and a little bit of right, but just, you know what you do? You know that you have to do a little bit of draw and you have to do a little bit of right. Now that you know that, just concentrate on where you want the cue ball to go. That should be your focus. Your only focus should be.
Am I trying to put the 9 ball in that pocket as well?
Yeah.
Is that what you want me to do? Okay. All right.
This may not be. This might not be the ideal. But if your opponent's balls are on the table, like say your opponent had a ball in front of this pocket, in front of that pocket, this is like the only, and maybe even in front of this pocket or along that path, then this is the only pocket you can go from.
So I'm trying to get the cue ball to hit here and come back.
Yeah. So you're ultimately trying to get the cue ball in this area.
Got it.
Okay. So this is your target. Okay. Not directly on that target, because directly on that target is going to leave you a straight shot, but pretty darn close to it. So landed on the target.
I got it on the target.
But you bumped the 9. That's okay. That's okay. The importance of this is for you to think in terms of 3 balls. The easiest way to make the first ball, to get to the second ball, and to get into the zone of the second ball, that's going to give you position on the next one. Right? If for whatever reason you can't go into the rail, then your zone does not include this part.
Right.
Your zone is actually somewhere along here. Right? So you need to know where the zone is so that you know how to shoot the ball.
Yes.
And where to pick your target.
Because I have another ball ahead of that one.
So ultimately what you want is you want to build up your muscle memory, build up your subconscious to understand how to do the draw shots and the English and all of that, put it all together so that your subconscious knows how to make the ball go where it wants to go. So that all you have to do is go, I want the cue ball there. And then let your subconscious just do it, right? Personally, that's ideal.
Yeah, I had to have some muscle behind mine.
It just really depends on how hard you, on how,
Set it up again. I have ball in hand.
So what you want to do is you want to think about the path.
Yes.
Balls you take. Okay.
So it has to hit. So
It wants to come here. It wants to go in this direction. If you do a stun shot, it's going to go in this direction. Okay. So do a stun shot,
okay.
but put a little bit of right on it. That's really all you need to do. Maybe even a little bit of draw. It's okay if it comes across and stops like right here. Okay. A little bit of low, a little bit of stun. Don't have to shoot too hard. See how that works?
Yes, yes.
So very little differences in how you stroke that. Where you hit the ball, very different where this cue ball goes.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
I have a good drill for you, or a good fun drill. This one's kind of fun to do. Now, ideally, what you want to do is ball in the middle of the table, and this ball halfway through, aimed at the center of the pocket. Now, what I'd like you to do, put the anywhere on the table.
Oh, okay.
And you can make one of these. Just take an 8.5 by 11, and cut it square. That's a good target for you to use. So put this anywhere on the table you want. So I'm going to try and make it to that target.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat the pocket a little bit. So the cue ball is going to go in this direction.
Got it.
Do you understand why I'm cheating the pocket?
So we don't scratch.
Well, I'm cheating the pocket to create
an angle.
Manufacturing an angle.
Yes.
If I cheat the pocket to this direction, then the cue ball wants to go in this direction.
Yes.
And if I can get to this direction and get to the rail, now think about all the things I can do to that cue ball to make it move where I want to.
So you really aren't placing this at an angle.
No. I'm placing it at the exact center of the table.
Okay.
Right, the exact center. Okay. And this exactly in the center between the pocket and the
when you say cheating the pocket, that means you're going to
cheating the pocket means you're aiming for a certain part of the pocket, not the center.
That's right.
I'm not aiming at the heart of the pocket. I'm actually cheating a little bit. And all I need to do is put a little bit of follow, a little bit of right. If you overlap the target, that's a good shot.
Okay.
Okay. Because sometimes it's going to hit it and then roll off.
Yes.
Okay. Now put the target somewhere else. Okay. I think on this one I'm going to try a little bit, tiny bit of draw, and a lot of stun. Close. Again. Cheat. I want to make sure it's lined up right.
So now why would you put stun?
Just because that's what I want to practice.
Oh, okay. Got it.
If I wanted to, I could do it this way. The whole point of this is to show that even with a dead straight in shot, because the pockets are bigger than the balls,
you can move the ball over.
I can put the ball anywhere. You want to give me something extreme? Put it here. Now what do I do? Well, I have a couple of options. I could do a real good stun shot. Stun shots are actually hard to control specific direction because I got to put a little tiny bit of fall, a little tiny bit of draw. And if I put too much, especially with a powerful stun, even a tiny bit of draw can pull it this way, rather than just go straight into that. Now, I shouldn't actually have to put any English at all. It should be dead straight stun. It should go into it. But just for fun, I'm going to do this instead.
You're putting left English on it?
Left and low. So the point being, well, that's exactly the whole point of this lesson, is to teach you that there are many different ways to get to the goal that you want, and to teach you that you can control the ball and put it wherever you want to. So let's try a couple of shots in this corner. And this is a really good one for you to just practice. Okay, put this ball on the spot. Think about where you want the cue ball to go, and then practice getting into that position. So the first thing I want you to do is just, sometimes what you need to do is just learn how the cue ball is going to react.
Yeah.
Do you know what a half ball shot is? Okay. So I want you to do a half ball shot on the tube. And you're going to aim right at the edge. Right. No English at all. Just let it roll into that ball. Okay? Medium speed. No English. exact shot. Did exactly the same thing. Physics does not change. If there are any differences in what you're doing, if you do this again and the ball comes way over here,
It's
or it
because,
comes down here, it's because you hit it differently. It's because you hit a different angle, you hit a different speed. Same exact shot, same speed, half ball hit. Same exact location, right? Half ball hits are really easy to judge because you can aim at a very specific point, right? So what you should get used to is how to aim at spots that are a little bit outside of what you're trying to do. So when you're shooting a half ball shot, you're shooting right at the edge.
right,
You're trying to do a quarter ball shot. So if you aim here, that's a half ball shot, right? If I go halfway to the edge of this ball and aim at the edge, see that?
yes,
That, I don't want to put the English on it, but that line is a quarter ball hit. So I move over this way, and I'm aiming right here.
yes,
The distance between the middle and the edge, halfway is there, halfway on this side is there. That's a quarter ball hit. You should get used to those types of hits. Quarter ball hits and 3/4 ball hits, which is in the opposite direction. Aim the edge of this ball at 3/4 of the ball there. See that?
yes,
Aim this center. See, there's the center, there's the edge, right halfway between those two. That's a 3/4 ball hit. You see that?
got it, yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Get used to those because you're not always going to be doing half ball hits. Half ball hits are easy because you're aiming right at the edge.
Yes, yes.
Anything other than that, you're aiming at space. So just be aware of what those are. So what I want you to do is I want you to do this exact same shot, but I want you to use a half tip of right. Do you know what a half tip is?
Yes.
So that means the left edge of your tip is going to be in the center of this ball.
Got it.
So
Yep.
instead of being the center,
Yes.
half tip is moving half a tip over. The center of the ball is the left part of you. So, and just follow through, medium speed.
Medium speed.
So when you're doing this, first thing you do is aim dead straight center ball, always. And then just shift over to that half ball head. And you don't want to twist.
Twisted.
Yeah. You don't want to twist on the ball. When I say you don't want to twist. You want to shift.
Got it.
Move this
Oh,
hand over.
yes.
Don't move your backhand. Okay.
Otherwise, I'm
If you move your
getting
backhand,
edge in my
you're changing the angle.
knees.
There's a whole area of pool that deals with backhand, what's called backhand English,
Okay.
but we're nowhere near that.
Okay.
So just do a parallel shift over. Just, your whole stick should shift over half a tip. Okay? And when you do this, hit that point exactly right, half ball hit. There you go. Okay. Observe where it went right at that time. Let's do that shot again. Exact same thing. Right at the diamond. A little bit different, but you have to also realize that
I sort of messed up in my head because I thought when I was stroking it, I thought I didn't even do my 1, 2, 3, my warm up. So
yeah, get used to that to the point where it's automatic.
automatic.
One more time.
Oops.
When you make a mistake, think of it in terms of your muscle memory, your subconscious is cataloging that. It goes into the catalog.
Yeah.
And the thing is that you can,
It's in the catalog.
if you were absolutely perfect and made every shot that you tried, your catalog would be full of perfect shots, right? So how does your subconscious know, oh, this shot isn't going to work? The way that it knows that is because you've done it before and it didn't work. Mistakes are good. They need to be part of the catalog.
Okay.
So
Oh.
embrace them.
Yes.
Don't worry about them.
All
Just
right.
say, okay, that's, the catalog just got another
Right,
another
right
piece of
there.
data.
There
Okay.
you go.
Half ball hit. Remember that. Half ball
Yes.
hit with half tip of right. Right at that time.
Mhm.
Or very close to it. But it did the same thing.
Yes.
Now, what I want you to do on this shot is I want you to do no English, half tip of follow, maybe a full tip. I want you to do a nice full hard stroke, okay?
Okay.
The maximum hard that you can do with control. Not a break shot, but
Right.
good speed.
You
okay?
said a half ball hit?
Half ball hit, just like
Okay.
you have been.
Yep.
But this one, no English, okay? Make sure that you have a nice straight stroke.
That's sort of scuffed.
Nope, don't worry about it. So what happened?
It's sort of, when I said scuffed, I meant like flattened out.
So you notice where it went?
Yes.
Okay, do it again. See if it does the same thing. Again, half ball hit, but half tip of follow, so it has natural forward roll. Same speed that you just did, hard speed. Do you know which one was the one that should have happened?
Oh, the last one.
Maybe. Let's do it again. So
Okay.
if you do a bunch of these, you're going to start to understand some of them went the same way, some of them were off.
Okay.
Again, we're just building our catalog up. Half ball, follow through, nice hard speed. So you notice that it looks like this ball. Let's see, oops, let's try one more and see if it does the same.
Half ball.
Half ball, a little bit of follow, hard speed.
2 and 2.
So what I want, the reason we do this is because even though it's an easy shot, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get position on the next ball.
Yes.
Right. Putting right hand English is going to give it a little more oomph off the rail. It's going to come a little bit more shallow out this way, as you saw it went toward this diamond. If you get an opportunity to shoot a shot on the corner with a half ball hit, and it's going to go in, then do that because that's a lot more predictable, right? But what the other thing I wanted to demonstrate was that the difference between your speed, especially since they have natural forward roll, it makes a very big difference if you hit it fuller. If you hit it more full, the cue ball stops as forward spin. It goes and hits the rail, but it's not hitting the rail at full forward spin. Full forward spin, even hard, it just bounces back, right?
Yes.
But if it hits that rail and it's spinning forward and it just kind of rolls into it and it's still overspinning, it'll hit it and keep overspinning and stay there.
So,
It's like a draw shot, but it's the reverse because it's coming back this way with forward.
so
spin.
that's a shot that you can use
Oh,
and put in
yes.
your bucket.
Oh yeah, you have a shot like this. Let's say you have a shot like this and your 8 ball is right here. And you know that this table is really wonky, and if you hit it softly, it's going to roll off, right?
Okay.
So what you do is you don't want to overkill it,
Right.
but you shoot at the right speed, almost full. The ball will just stop there.
So then both of those, you asked me which one was the correct shot I took, and they both were really. One stopped.
It really just depended on
Where I wanted to
on
be.
how full you hit the ball. If you hit this ball 3/4 or more full than that, it's gonna not have a whole lot of this way. It's gonna have a lot of forward roll. And when it hits this, it's still gonna be forward spinning.
So full ball will make it stop up.
Full ball will make go into the pocket, right?
Yes.
A little bit less than full ball with an angle will come into this rail, but it'll still have that forward spin.
So then when I
And it's
stopped
stopped. So when it goes this way and it's spinning this way, it stops it.
yes. So when I stopped it up there, I didn't hit the half ball like you told me to. Got it.
Right.
Got it.
So now let's do the half ball. So what's happening with the half ball? You do a regular half ball with medium speed. What happens? It comes in here. It hits this rail, but it doesn't have overspin anymore.
Right.
So it naturally bounces off, and it comes out at the angle, comes right about to the middle of the table.
Mm-hmm.
When you hit it harder, had a tiny bit of overspin when it hit here. So when it came back, it still had a little bit of overspin, which flattened it out and brought it over here
Got it.
towards this pocket. But you have to be very careful with, because if you shoot the shot thinking, oh, I've got the 8-ball right here, I'm going to get position on it. What's better to shoot? The medium speed one, where the ball came to here, not the harder one, which came towards the pocket and you might scratch.
Right.
Okay. Try the harder one now. Half ball with follow. Harder speed. See what that does?
Mm-hmm.
That forward spin kind of hurts this one.
Yes.
How hard you hit it is going to have a very big input on where along here it goes. If you hadn't hit it quite as hard, it might have come here, or might have gone in the pocket, it might have come over here.
Yes.
If you have a medium speed where the cue ball has enough time to have natural forward roll when it hits this, it's not overspinning anymore, then it's just going to bounce off naturally and come out normal. So with your medium speed, oops. With your medium speed, so try the medium speed shot again. Comes out to the middle of the table.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yep.
And consistent.
Yes.
As long as you are consistent with your shot, everything that you're doing there. Okay? So, what I want you to take away from this is I want you to practice different shots that you have trouble with. Okay? I want you to be aware of all the different factors. The rail has a factor, the spin has a factor of the cue ball, the how much follow along with how much power you use.
Right.
Those combination of those two, you have to be aware of what happens to the cue ball after it hits your object ball. Object ball gets hit, it's a very instantaneous thing, and after that the ball is gone, it's gone off on its way, and the cue ball is going to do something. Cue ball might be spinning forward, it might be spinning sideways. So the questions are, if I'm spinning forward, is it going to go into a pocket? Is it going to go this way? Is it going to go that way? When it's spinning, is it going to come off the rail this way? Is it come off the rail this way? How fast is it going? All of that stuff is going to determine where that cue ball is going. They're all important factors. So when you're shooting a shot like this, especially if it's on the rail but not quite, right? So this one here, what can you do? You can hit the ball fat, and it hits the rail and bounces off. Maybe it hits the pocket. Let's say you make all of these. You hit it fat, it goes and hits the rail, hits the pocket, goes in. It's a successful shot, but what happens to the cue ball is very different than if it hit the rail first, then hit this, goes in the pocket, and where does the cue ball go? If it hits the rail first and hits this ball, it's still going to have some forward roll, but it's not going to, it's going to be coming out this way and then whatever. If you hit this ball first, it hits it, still rolling forward, your right hand spin if you have any right hand spin, it's going to grab, and then it's going to dive. So that's the difference.
You hit that with right hand? I mean,
A lot of times you will. Like if I'm trying to get position, let's say I'm trying to get position on this 8-ball, I need to go around the table.
Yes.
Right? Watch what happens if I hit with high right, but I hit the rail first. See how flat the cue ball is? Obviously I missed it, but the point was that the cue ball came off very flat. But in the same shot, but I hit the ball first. See how the cue ball dove into that back rail and came for a position on the 8? Now this is not an easy shot. You know, you've seen me miss this, you've seen Jason miss this, you see pros miss this, especially if you're using English. Sometimes you just want to use follow. Make the ball. Follow. I'm able to get around the table. Because I hit the ball first, it had time to still go forward, hitting the rail, so it dives a lot deeper. If it hits the rail first and then the ball, then it's coming out this way.
And how did you hit that?
Just fall.
Just follow.
Just fall. So this is a really good one to practice. I wouldn't practice too much with balls on the rail. If you have a ball on the rail, my suggestion is to hit it with follow, period. No English.
Okay.
And learn where the cue ball is going to go.
But I want to know how you were able to, because if I hit this right now, follow, more than likely it's going to follow it and may stop in that area. I want to know how to shoot it off without any English.
You have to understand where the cue ball wants to go. You hit the cue ball. Basically, on this shot with just ball, you're hitting the cue ball. You're hitting the object ball and the rail at the same time. Okay. The interesting thing about your angle in is that it's going to be approximately tripled out.
Okay.
Okay. So if you took the cue ball and imagined right here, that's 3 times as far out. This angle in is going to be this angle out, same angle out. Okay?
Yes.
So you shoot this in with high. Go ahead and shoot it in. And shoot it with high and medium hard speed. You should come right at my finger. See that?
Yes.
Okay. It's a general rule of thumb. It's not perfect. For a relatively shallow angle like that, that's the kind of shot you're going to be shooting there. If you're shooting this shot here, this is going to be a lot harder, and there's a really good chance it's going to go in that pocket. But for a shot like this, you take this, and you go 1, 2, and you do that angle in, equal the angle out, should go right about to that third diamond. Right? Since this is halfway between the cue ball and the pocket, it's approximately going to be the same spot of the rail. Right?
Yes.
This is on the second diamond, I'm on the 4th diamond. So it's so angle in, angle out. If I go 3, 1, 2, so that's just 3 times its distance. It should go at this diamond right here.
Right.
With just follow. Okay, and depending on your speed, if you do hard speed, remember it's 4 times in, so it might go a little farther, but that'll give you an idea of approximately where it's going to hit. So if you're shooting that ball, you want positioned on this ball, and you have to go around the ball. So from here, okay, this is my angle in, right?
Right.
So second diamond, 4th diamond, 2, 3. It's gonna should hit that diamond. It should dive into that diamond and come around the 6. And that's what I'm trying to do. Right? Once you understand this stuff, it's not that hard. It takes practice to. Okay, all I was doing here. Let's say this is right here. Okay, this is a diamond and a half.
Right.
And this is the angle that I have.
Okay.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out where this rail is going to hit.
I see. So you. Yes.
So diamond and a half. I go to 3. That's double, right?
Yes.
And this is where the path goes right here.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3 is approximately where it's going to hit on this rail.
Got it.
Right about there. Okay, so go ahead and shoot that shot. Just follow. And you shot it a little bit harder, and I think you actually might have hit the rail slightly first. Hitting the rail slightly first changes the angle. I'm not coming into the ball, I'm coming into the ball this way.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
So that's why it comes out a little farther. That's why there's a very big difference between the two.
Got it.
And it's very important that you understand whether or not you want to hit the ball first or hit the rail first.
So hitting the ball first, I think it made it hit that rail and pop out, rather than that axis or the
Exactly.
opposite
See, if I have a shot like this, and I know that I want the ball I know I want the ball to come around the table,
Mhm.
and I don't have a big angle on it. I create an angle by hitting the rail first, coming this way, then the ball is going to bounce around the table, right? So that's ball control.
Okay,
There's
yes.
a lot of factors. And I know that I know I threw a lot of different things at you.
Mhm.
What I'd like you to do is our last bit, we're actually going over a little bit, but I need to get out of here pretty soon. Is I'm gonna show you how to do these, and then you're gonna take these on your own and you're gonna practice them.
All right.
Okay? All right, so this is called progressive practice. What we did with the follow shot is one.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm.
And you're gonna start with A. All right, you're gonna start with one.
One.
One A, B, C, and D
Yep.
are 4 different shots, but these are the easiest set.
Okay,
Your second set is 2 A, B, C, D, goes all the way to 5.
okay,
5
okay.
is like
Mhm.
professional.
Okay,
Okay, so what you're gonna do is with the stop shot, you're going to put the ball here, and then the cue ball. So I want you to understand. I just want to kind of teach you what all the diagrams mean. So you'll notice that there's an arrow pointing at this black ball,
yes.
and there's an arrow going down this way with the white ball.
Mm-hmm.
So your subsequent shots, your object ball is always going to be there.
Got it.
Your subsequent shots are going to be.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Just like we did.
Right.
Mhm.
So you see this gray area
Mhm.
is 1 diamond. That's your target. So the cue ball must land inside this square
Okay,
with a stop shot. Easy. Your second shot's going to be here. Third shot's going to be here.
and my area was always.
Your area is always going to be there. So
Even when I'm down here.
you're doing a stop shot from here. This is number 5. You're going to hit this a little bit low because you want it to be
Mhm.
stopping by the time it gets there. That's right. If you drift, number 1, I don't believe you're allowed to hit the rail. Do not touch the end rail. So
Oh,
if you
okay.
stay in the area but it comes and hits this rail, it's not a stop.
Start over.
Start over. Not starting over, I'll tell you that in a second.
Oh.
So, stop it in that area.
Got it.
If you succeed, you move up 1. Now you're shooting 2. Succeed, 3. Succeed, 4. Fail, 3. Succeed,
Oh.
4.
Okay,
Succeed, 5. Fail.
got it.
Shooting 10 shots.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
Take out 10 balls.
Mhm.
Try 10 shots. Wherever you end up is your final score. You shoot ball number 10 from here and you make it,
Mhm.
your final score is 7.
Okay.
If you shoot your 10th ball from here and you miss, your final score is 5.
Got it.
Okay?
Got
Don't cheat yourself, be honest with yourself.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
So, you score these back here. Okay, set number 1. So this is
Mhm.
1, A, B, C, D, 2, A, B, C, D, all that.
Yes.
You shoot a 5, you shoot a 4, you shoot a 5, you shoot a 4. Your total is 19 or 18. Your score is 4.5. It's the average roll.
Oh, got it. Got it.
If you can shoot between a 4 and a 5 on everything,
Mhm.
then I recommend might be time to move up to the next one.
Okay.
Unless you want to keep trying to perfect it.
Got it.
Right.
Okay.
If you're getting up to a certain point, where you could do the stop shot from anywhere, even from 7,
Mhm.
consistently, and move on to the next one. The next one is the same shot, but you have a smaller area of success.
Got it.
It's about a 9-inch circle, about half of this
Oh.
circle
Okay.
that you have to stop.
Hmm.
So,
Okay.
and with the next one,
Uh,
you have to stop it within a ball's width.
got it.
And that's just 3.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
4, this is not really a stop shot, this is the one we do the stun. You're shooting, this is 2 balls away, you have ball in hand,
Mhm.
and you have to stop the cue ball. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The cue ball has to stun to these spots.
Got it.
Very tough deal. It's even harder than the stop shot on the.
And that's where I placed the.
Yeah, you place the object right
And the
there.
object.
Yeah.
Where's
You
the
ever
cue
have-
ball on that?
Ball in hand.
Ball in hand.
Cue ball in hand. is-
Yep. 60.
But you're not going to be there.
Mm-mm. No.
You're going to be on 1s and 2s. Okay, so 1A, that's 1A. 1B is a follow shot. It's the one that we're doing.
Mhm.
On this one, you notice you move both balls.
Got
Okay? You
Okay.
start with the object ball on one,
Mhm.
and you count where the object ball is.
That's what we were doing.
Exactly.
Yes.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Mhm.
7. You keep doing them. You fail, you move forward. You succeed, you move back.
Okay.
This is not hard and fast. You don't have to start at 1.
Mhm.
If you've done this drill a few times and you know that you can pretty consistently make it from 3, then start at 3.
Okay.
What this is doing is it's finding your average spot, your 50% failure rate,
Gotcha.
right? Because you're gonna
Yes.
oscillate
Right. Right.
right in that area.
Mhm.
So if you start at 3 and your failure 50% area is 5, you'll get to that a lot quicker.
Okay.
You can also, if you decide to be more precise, do 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5. You can do anything you want to. Okay. These are your practice drills. This is just a guideline. You can even change the drills to be something completely different, as long as you can give yourself, 7 progressively harder shots. You can try whatever it is you're trying to do. If you're trying to do the shot that we were just doing, you put the ball here, and you have to, you tell yourself, well, I have to leave the ball, within a 4-inch circle right here,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
See how successful you can be
Yes.
from up close to farther away, all that kind of stuff. Or maybe you leave it here, then leave it here, then leave it here, leave it here. There are shots where you have to shoot, and then you have to come around the table,
Yes. Yes.
right? So
Mhm.
maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A lot of different things. Stick to these first until you
Okay.
really get used to it. So the follow shot, your target area is this gray,
Oh,
this whole gray area
okay.
there, like we were doing.
Yes.
Progressive ones, you have a smaller area.
Mhm.
Again, you can't scratch.
Right. Okay.
This one's the draw shot. This one's tougher.
Okay.
This one you might have to practice a little bit more. But if you practice what I showed you and make sure that you're hitting low,
Mhm.
consistently low, get used to that.
Yes.
Don't worry if you make a mistake. Like I said, you'll find where the limit is, right? As long as that cue is supported well and it's not touching the table at the moment of impact,
Yes.
you're not going, and you've talked well, you're not
And what
going
you
to
call that grip?
the fist bridge.
Yes. Fist bridge.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, but the draw shot, the ball stays in front of the pocket, and you move the cue ball back. And for the first one, you only have to draw back 1 diamond.
Okay.
Okay. The subsequent ones, you've got to draw back to where the cue ball was.
Okay.
Draw back at least as far as the starting point.
Okay.
And then the next one, you have to be within 2 diamonds of the starting point.
Okay.
So they're tougher and tougher and tougher.
Yes.
You get to that point, you're going to have done a lot of draw shots, and you're going to start controlling your draw shots, right? You're going to control your draw shots by how much draw, how much power, or how low you hit it, how much power you use, make sure your timing is good.
Mhm.
You can get to a point where you can draw that back right to where you need to be. Shooting a shot here, your 8 ball's here, but you can draw back to here. You'll do that.
Yes.
Right.
Got it.
These drills are going to help you get there.
Mhm.
The last one is a cut shot. So you can see here,
Yeah.
it says object ball is 1 inch off the rail, and you can see it's half a diamond away. So the object ball in this one is not too difficult to cut. Halfway,
Yeah.
1 inch.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
1 diamond, 2 diamonds, 3 diamonds, 4 diamonds.
Mhm.
That's where you're going to shoot from to make this ball.
Got it.
Okay?
Straight down the middle?
Straight down the middle.
Got it.
Is it down the middle? Or is
Yes.
it? Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Subsequent ones are going to be
Okay.
these are on the first diamond, but this ball is going to be on the diamond rather than closer to the
Got
top. See, it's going to be a little
Yes.
top.
Yep.
And then they get even harder.
Okay.
You're just off the rail, and you have to cut it from
Yes.
1 ball away from this second line. Okay, so those are the progressive practice drills. If any questions about those, feel free to email me or whatever, or message me.
Well, who is this? What is this?
San Francisco Billiard Academy, that's Dr. Dave
Oh, so
and
that's, okay.
and
So are you under them or
Bob
you?
Jewett.
Bob Jewett.
Yeah.
So you trained under them or something? Or?
This isn't part of my training, but I
Oh.
did get certified as an instructor
Yes.
from
Yes.
Bob Jewett.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and there's a PBIA instructors group on Facebook, and Dr. Dave is the administrator for that.
So are you a professional or would you be a master? What would your title?
I guess
Your
technically,
profession.
it just depends on who's referring to me.
Mhm.
Purely as a player, I'm really kind of classified as a semi-pro.
Yeah.
I have a Fargo
That
rating,
ranking, yeah.
and I have played in some events like the ones that had hard times. And stuff.
Mhm.
I've yet to place in those, but
Mhm.
but so yeah, but from like if I were to try to, I wouldn't be able to participate in the APA. The APA classifies a pro. Well, I might be able to. A pro is somebody who either earns their money full time from, or like 50% of their pay or something like that
Mhm.
from pool, or they play or they have a certain Fargo rating or something like that.
Yes,
So it just depends on who you're talking to.
right. I was just wondering. I thought you and Jason would be pro level because of
We're
your
both. I
Fargo.
think we're both
levels.
considered. He's closer to being pro. He's actually over 700. I'm probably low rated on my Fargo. I'm like around 630.
Mhm.
I think I should be high 60s, high 600s, only because just I know how I play against Jay and other people. But yeah, they I don't play in as many Fargo rate. My robustness isn't real high,
Right,
so I don't play in as many events that are rated. So
right. Yeah, that's why mine, I think, is lower. But it's funny because my robustness is almost the same as my Fargo.
oh
So
really?
what does that mean?
Well, robustness just means how many data points they have. If you have
Oh.
over, they want you to have over 200 to really be playing in most tournaments.
Right, yes.
So the higher that is, just means every single time that a match that you have played is recorded, that
Okay.
increases your robustness by one.
It's not how many times you won or anything like that.
No.